Hello everyone, my name is Marcosis and welcome back to another vlog. If you were paying attention to my Facebook fan page, you would know I was trying to get a new camera because my original camera I thought was broken. Well, what actually happened was I misplaced the charger and I bought a brand new camera and the charger works for both cameras. So now I have two cameras, not four, two. Anyway, something I wanted to show you today, not me cracking my knuckles, but what I wanted to show you was my book collection. Yes, I read books. Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes. If you're a fan of Mass Effect, you might get a kick out of this. I happen to have a lot of Mass Effect books. I've read that one, and this one, and part of that one. I haven't read these three yet. I kind of read like a couple of chapters a day if I read a book. Kind of liked Revelation. It was alright. It was a prequel to the Mass Effect, the first game. It has, well, if you don't know who Saren is, Saren's the person on the front. And then the second one is about a biotic girl who is sought after by a group called Cerberus. If you played Mass Effect, you'll know what I'm talking about, as far as Cerberus and whatever. Anyway, that's just trying to get a shot. Yeah, I get some sock action going on. Anyway, that's all the books together. Looks all nice and neat. Drew Karpyshyn writes really good stories. Sorry if I butchered your name. Ignore my messy desk. I only had the first book. I know, call me crazy. I only got the first book of like the 13 books of the Lemony Snicket book series. I was trying to get all of them, but I only got one right now. I don't know. I've read all of them except for like the 12th and 13th book. But yeah, those are pretty good. Then I got Alien: The Cold Forge. Please focus, camera. Okay. I haven't read that one yet, but I do like the Alien series, so hopefully I'll like that book. It's by Alex White. This is Roald Dahl's, I probably didn't say his name right, Book of Ghost Stories. It's basically just ghost stories. Stuff of that nature. Douglas Adams' The Ultimate Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The book is thick. It's like 1,000 pages. Very thick book. It's 5 novels in one. So it's like an omnibus, or whatever you want to call it. Omnibus. Then there's The Final Winter by Ayn Rob Wright. Supposedly it's horror. I haven't read it yet. I can read the back for you. The snow is just the start. On the night it begins snowing in every country of the world, an ordinary group of people gather at a rundown English pub. At first they assume the weather is just a random occurrence and nothing to worry about. But as the night goes on, weirder things happen, and they start to realize there's something far more sinister at hand. Something that none of them could have ever imagined. Dun dun dun. Then, if you're familiar with scary stories to tell in the dark, you might like this too. I got the first, second, and third book. Unfortunately, it's not with the original illustrations. Not with like... See, it's not as scary. It's just meant to like look nicer. I mean, not saying it's bad because it has different artwork. I'm just saying the original artwork was more scary. I see I got the second one, first and second one, and the third one. And I got Diary of a Wimpy Kid, the second one. I think it's the second one. I wish I had all of them, because I did like Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Anyway, I bought some thicker books, like Norse Myths and Tales. It's basically what you think, what it sounds like. It's basically Nordic. Things of that nature, like legends and stuff like that. Like Odin. If you know who H.P. Lovecraft is, then... Lovecraft. Then you'll know that... Hold on. When you think of H.P. Lovecraft, I think of like Cthulhu and stuff like that. Anyway. This is basically all of his stories, or her stories. I forgot if it's a boy or a girl. Don't kill me. And then this is basically just horror and short stories. I got these at Books A Million. Oh, just those two. Or a couple of books, actually. Then there's Inferno by Dan Brown. My girlfriend's read it. She doesn't remember what it was about. It was a while ago when she read it. Then there's James Rawlins' The Bone Labyrinth. I haven't read that one, I can't see the, well, I see the book right now, but I haven't read it. Let's see here. This is The Darkest Fear by Harlan Coben. I haven't read it either, but it sounded cool. It sounded like a horror novel. Looks like a horror novel. Might be a horror novel. Tell No One is about, also by Harlan Coben. I can read the back for you. For Dr. David Beck, the loss was shattering, and every day for the past 8 years he has relived the horror of what happened. The gleaming lake, the pale moonlight, the piercing screams, the night his wife was taken, the last night he saw her alive. Everyone tells him it's time to move on, to forget the past once and for all. But for David Beck, there could be no closure. A message has appeared on his computer, a phrase only he and his dead wife know. Suddenly, Beck is taunted with the impossible, that somewhere, somehow, his wife is alive, and he's been warned to tell no one. This book is called Killjoy, by Julie Garwood. Ignore the little tag on it. I got it at a thrift store. It's also a horror book. I haven't read it yet. I read a lot of my books. I got this at the same thrift store. Her name is by Lisa Unger. It's called Blackout. It doesn't have a description on the back. It just has a lot of like what people have said about it, including Harlan Coben, which is the person I just told you about. He said that Blackout is a riveting psychological suspense of the first order. If you haven't yet experienced Lisa Unger, what are you waiting for? And I'm also a fan of Dead Space, which there is a book I have called Dead Space Catalyst. I've read some of it, and it starts off with these two brothers, and one of them, he's a little bit off. I'm not sure if it's schizophrenia or what, but he sees patterns in everything, and I'm not sure what else it's about, because I haven't read the whole story. Then I had this one called The Gemini Virus. It's about, basically, it's a fictional story about a lethal outbreak. I haven't read all of it yet. It's by Will Mara. This is one of my favorites. I really like this story. It was Five Nights at Freddy's, The Sofarized. It's by Scott Cawthon and Kira Breed Risley. It's about, as you can guess, that it's about the different animatronics in Five Nights at Freddy's. This book is not for children. It's very graphic novel. I'll read the description for you. 10 years after the horrific murders of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza that ripped their town apart, Charlie, whose father owned the restaurant, and her childhood friends reunite on the anniversary of the tragedy and find themselves at the old pizza place, which had been locked up and abandoned for years. After they discover a way inside, they realize that things are not as they used to be. The 4 adult-sized animatronic mascots that once entertained patrons have changed. They now have a dark secret and a murderous agenda. Then here come one of my favorite authors, Madeleine Rue. I might have butchered your name. I'm sorry. This is the Asylum Novellas. I haven't read this one yet, but I've read I've read Asylum. I haven't read Escape from Asylum. I have a little collection going on here. As you can see, it comes with 3 books. It has Escape from Asylum, and Catacomb. I'll take them out for you. I haven't read this one. Ironically, I think it's the first one. And I haven't read the first one. I think I read the second one. Sorry if the camera's shaky. Anyway, that one was pretty good. I haven't read that one. And I haven't read that one. But Madeleine Rue writes pretty good stories. I've only read one of her stories right now, but I'm pretty sure I'll like the other ones if I like the first one that I read. Anyway. Oh, I forgot. It's about these college kids that go to a college, and the college happens to be where an insane asylum used to be. And it just gets better from there. And this is a more recent book by her. It's called House of Furies by Madeleine Rue. I haven't read that one either, but it looks interesting. This is a very thin book by Christopher Coleman called They Came with the Snow. See, it's very thin. It's like 40 pages. It's nothing. It's easy to read. Anyway, the main character is not exactly... I want to say it's not easy to like the main character, but it's a pretty good story overall, besides the main character. And here's the fun one. Big, heavy one. Barely pick it up with one hand. If you know what Skyrim is, then you'll love this. Hold on. I can't get it out with one hand. It's the Skyrim Library, volumes 1, 2, and 3. Basically what it is it's a visual, very nice visual story of every single book in Skyrim that you could possibly get in story, in like a nice little archive form. And it shows like pictures and stuff for the stories and everything like that. Literally every book, each book that you find in the game, it's basically every book in the game put into one book. As you can see. Like, for example, like Forge, Hammer, and Anvil. Bone. See, and you got nice pictures on it. Stuff like that. Also, it comes in a nice case. See, there's Aldwin. Anyway, that's all for this vlog, and thank you for watching. And as always, stay unique.